Hi, everybody. So I have a special guest on my show. His name is Joseph, and he works as a psychotherapist, and he practices a form of psychotherapy called AEDP. He wants to talk about corrective emotional experience through mindfulness states. So welcome to the show, Joseph.
Thank you, Leon.
Yeah, so Joseph written this really brilliant article, and I enjoy reading it, in which he talks about this matter. Can you explain this concept to us about what is a corrective emotional experience?
I guess maybe I'll start with a little bit about AEDP. We were talking before about that. It stands for Accelerated Experiential Dynamic Psychotherapy.
Right.
And it was developed by a woman named Diana Fosha. It's a therapy that believes everyone has an innate drive towards wholeness. And rather than just focus on pathology, there's an emergent phenomenon she calls transformance, which is the self or the core state's spontaneous ability to heal and to reorganize around healing. So how we do that is relational. It's an attempt to be a good enough other for the person in the moment that they need.
Okay. Let me see if I understand. So you're saying that in this form of therapy, we all have this natural drive towards self-transformation.
Yes.
And in that process, it's something, first of all, it's natural, but it could be supported by somebody else. Somebody else could act as a helper to help you to facilitate this transformation.
Yes. Yeah. And when it's safe enough and there's the invitation is there, then there's a term that she uses called undoing aloneness. When we undo the aloneness, then the things that are difficult to bear become bearable, and we can engage with them, and we can actually transform them. In some ways it feels magical, like the core state is this thing it's in all of us. It's always been in all of us, but we forget sometimes that it's there.
We have this natural capacity to heal that is there.
Yes.
And when we don't feel alone anymore, that's something that really helps. So everybody feels alone in their own trauma.
Yes.
But you're helping to unlock this ability to not only to undo the aloneness, but to do the healing. That's
Yes.
that capacity that lies underneath.
Right. And even as you're talking, I notice in myself, I'm pulled towards you around this idea even. It just has a natural, invigorating, hopeful feeling about it that it's exciting, right?
Right. Well, one thing I remember reading in your articles about having authentic presence. So when you're helping doing the healing, you're there for the other person and you are authentically excited for them, happy for them. And the healing's not only mutual, it's also, it works because I guess what you're saying is authenticity is the key to healing, the healing process.
Yeah. And I think it's really lovely for me as a therapist. I think a lot of therapists like this because, as I'm sure you know, as therapists, we tend to be sensitive, caring people. So we have our own feelings that are going on in the room with the client. It's really powerful to be able to sort of feel that and pay attention to that and have it be even implicitly, but not just implicitly, sometimes explicitly in the room with the client, like, hey, I feel this with you. I'm actually moved by this. You're saying your courage, your pain. I'm grateful you're sharing it with me. Those type of things.
Right. Well, what this reminds me of is the words of a famous psychotherapist called Carl Rogers, and he talks about unconditional positive regard. Right. So for the person, you genuinely care for them. It doesn't mean that you agree with their actions, right? Or you agree with their thoughts, but you want the best for them. And you really are feeling that on behalf of the other person. And so they feel safe, even exploring negative thoughts and also their negative behaviors with you.
We allow ourselves to resonate with another person, it feels like magic, but it's not. It's actually how we're designed or how we're built. Just to link it to the article, and some of what I was thinking is there are other places that state appears. We don't have to just do it through therapy.
Mhm.
Therapy is a way that I think is a really great way to do it. But people do it, as I mentioned in the article, people do it with psychedelics. The psychedelic state is a way to get to a place where we are unarmored and where we're our full self, and where we also, even if there isn't somebody there, often there's a guide there or a therapist there doing psychedelic therapy. But even if we're on our own, like on a walk in a forest,
Right.
part of the experience that's so valuable is this feeling of being connected to what's around you, being connected to other people in the world, to nature, to spirit, whatever it is that makes sense to you.
Yeah, and that's something really beautiful to hear. I remember you writing something about how the medicine permits the work.
Ah, yeah,
It allows it to happen, and it doesn't have to be necessarily through psychedelics. It can be through mindfulness states, as you say, like even taking a walk out in the woods or bearing witness to, like having authentic relational experience with somebody else. That
yeah.
you could be in this state of mind.
Yeah, yeah. I think mindfulness is another one of those doors, and you said it, like in witnessing the breath witnesses us, and also that's true for the medicine in psychedelic therapy. The medicine becomes a witness in a way for us. There's an echo there in the structure, at least, of the relational experience and in therapy and in AEDP.
I could see that. So a psychedelic experience could act as a witness. The medicine could act like a witness that could be helpful and supportive.
Yeah, I think that mindfulness, meditation, those are ways of self-regulation. Psychedelic therapy is sort of less directed, but it's also a way of coming into, you could call it a co-regulated state with the medicine.
Right.
And then, of course, therapy is in large part about co-regulation
Hmm.
of our experience.
Yeah, and that's something you call relational field. That's what I saw in the article. So how does that look like? How does that, first of all, begin? How does a relational field begin, and how does it look like?
The first thing to do that's really helpful is to slow down. And that can be taking a deep breath, slowing down the speed, the rhythm of
Mhm.
how one's talking, and then also making sure you're inviting the different parts of the person you're with to be there. So just noticing what's present about the other person and making sure that you open the door for them to come in, and asking questions about what is going on, like what's going on for the other person inside, because I don't know. I want to know, but I don't know yet, and I'd sure love it if you'd share it with me, and
Mhm.
then together we can look at it and just notice. It's really pretty simple in some ways. Like, let's just notice what's going on. There's no wrong or right way to do it. It is what's happening for you in the moment.
Right.
Uh, and then tracking that moment to moment to moment is part of what creates that safety and that relational field. It can feel psychedelic in some ways. I often think a cue for me that we're in the relational field is it's easy to lose track of time. The session goes quickly. It's suddenly, half an hour has gone by, or
Mm.
somebody will say, wow, we haven't been talking very long, but we have been talking for 30 minutes. It's really interesting. Our perception gets sort of tuned and opened towards paying attention.
Mm. Yeah, this is a really beautiful illustration and makes me think that it is a co-created experience. And part of the beauty is that it's something that is that it's co-created.
Yeah.
And I like how you mention setting the stage for it, which seems to show to me that to set the stage is to provide a space for non-judgment, right?
Hmm.
Even with your own energy, to be inviting, to ask for permission, to be in a moment with somebody else, and it just creates this really wonderful experience where the healing could occur.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Something you said had me think of something really important, though, around how it's structured, in that there's, this is very, very important. There's a holding there, right? You're building the relational field together. You're co-creating it. However, what you're doing with a client, whether it's AEDP or psychedelic therapy or meditation, is you're asking them to go into their involuntary, the parts that are there beyond their defenses, beyond their intellect, the deepest parts. And so you can't both go into your involuntary at the same time. Someone has to hold
Right.
um, the field in order for there to be real safety there to fully let go. So that's really important.
Yeah, the focus is on the healing of the specific person and helping them to get beyond their usual state of operating. We have a lot of our defenses that we use, and this
Right.
is this is a place that feels very safe and comfortable for people to be able to do the deeper work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just like when we're children, we need a parent or an attachment figure to let us know that they're right there with us. They've got us. That gives us the ability to sort of take a risk and look somewhere that might be scary to look, or to feel something that we've been avoiding feeling because it's
Mm-hmm.
just too much, or it's too painful, or it's too scary. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, I remember you mentioning about people are wearing armor and you're helping them to be able to get beyond that.
I think this idea of armor is something that appeals to me because I have my armor. So it's putting it down and sort of standing there unadorned. And it's one thing to stand there with oneself in front of a mirror, uh, whether it's an actual mirror or a person. It's revealing.
Right. Thank you for sharing this, Joseph. I really appreciate you talking about this. I think this is not only deep, but it's also something that people will find meaningful
Hmm.
on their own healing journey. I know in my channel, that's something that is very important for me is that people could learn about different ways they could have the capacity to heal. And I think this is a great way to be able to do that. Thank you for being on my show, Joseph.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It was really great to talk to you, and I really appreciated you have a very calm and caring demeanor that I felt.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Joseph.